Hi everyone, welcome to Byte and Beyond with Uday. This is part 2 for our multi AI provider video. So in this video, we will complete the remaining topics. So till now we have completed till chat provider registry. So in this video, we are going to cover prompt factory. We are going to refactor the AI chat service IMPL. And in the end, I'm going to show you the demo. So let's begin. Chat prompt factory. So what does so over here I have tried to use factory design pattern that basically help us to build the prompt for our chat provider. So if I tell you this everything, all right, this everything chat provider registry, chat prompt factory going to be used in our AI chat service IMPL, meaning in our service layer. So that is why we are building it. So what is the purpose of chat prompt factory? It is its main purpose to build the prompt for all the providers, whether it is OpenAI or it is Gemini. It basically help us to provide the prompt. Help us to build the prompt. So let me expand this and explain to you what exactly it does. So you can see this is the default system message which we are getting from our application.yaml file. So if I open this, you can see this is our system message. That is it. And yeah, that is it inside this constructor. Nothing else over here. All right. Now, now you can see create, and you can see the output. It returns the prompt that we are going to use in use that we are going to send to the AI. All right. So this basically help us to provide the uh, this basically help us to build the prompt. So prompt factory main objective is to build the prompt for all the providers, whether it is OpenAI or the Gemini. So you can see this is the request. I am getting the system. If there is a system message, I am going to use it. Otherwise, I am going to use default. Here is the user prompt, whatever user is sending. So if I show you this, this is the prompt, the user message. All right. And you can see uh, using this, I have built my messages list. I'm creating a prompt object and I'm passing the list of messages. All right. Another thing I am building is so you can see this prompt. In order to create prompt object, it expect two inputs. So let me go inside this. One is the message, and another one is the chat options. So that's what we are building over here. So you can see how we are building this chat option. So for that, we are using chat provider because options are different among the chat provider. So for example, let me first go to the uh, OpenAI. So you can see we are using this method now. So if user has no input, we are going to return null, meaning in that case, we are automatically application.yaml configuration going to be used. If user has input, we are building the options over here. You can see options over here. And you can see request dot model, request dot temperature, and request dot max completion tokens. All right. Um, so if the input is OpenAI, all right, if the input is OpenAI, we are going to call OpenAI, all right. And if inside the input meaning inside this JSON request, if the input is OpenAI, we are going to use OpenAI options. If input is Gemini, we are going to use Gemini options. So let me show you the difference. So notice this, it is same. almost same. If no inputs, return null. If there are inputs, use those inputs. So what I am using, model, temperature, and max output tokens. So you can see over here, Gemini uses output tokens, but in case of OpenAI, it uses max completion tokens. So this is the difference between multiple providers. Some has a few different method name, all right, and some has something else. So in case of Gemini, it is max output tokens. In case of OpenAI, it is max completion tokens. All right. So that is why it is better to have separate implementation instead of if else block. All right. So you will be able to connect the dots once we are inside the our service layer. All right. So don't take too much stress that hey, I am not able to understand things. For now, just understand the components which we have built. All right. So you just need to remember, or you just need to give focus that this prompt factory help us to build a prompt. Once we are inside this AI chat service IMPL, you will able to connect the dots how things are working from start to end. That also I am going to explain, but it is essential to build to explain this component first so you get the better idea once we are inside the service layer. All right. So what is the objective of prompt factory? To build the prompt. That is it. As per the chat provider, OpenAI or the Gemini, it help us to build the prompt. That is it. Simple. So let me go to the whiteboard and let me close other tabs. So before I jump into the AI chat service layer, all right, I just want to reiterate this. These are pretty simple dependency application.yaml request DTO. So the complexity start from the chat provider section. So these two section, all right, chat provider section basically help us to build multiple to help us to build multiple uh, it basically help us to have multiple chat provider. In our case, we have OpenAI and the Gemini. So this section basically help us to have multiple chat providers. In future, if I need to use another chat provider, I can easily use it. Chat provider registry job is to find the provider for us. As per the user input, it will return return the chat provider. If we give Gemini, it will give the Gemini chat provider. If we give the OpenAI as an input, it will give the OpenAI chat provider. So this is just a registry. Prompt factory job is to build the prompt as per the provider. If our provider is Gemini, it will build the Gemini prompt. All right. So that is it. So you can see this is the prompt factory. If I need to just explain, I'm giving all the inputs to the prompt factory. Prompt factory basically help me to prepare a prompt that I am sending this generated prompt to this providers as per the selected providers. All right. Give your input. Prompt factory will build a prompt. So this is the prompt. At the third number is output is our prompt, and we are feeding this prompt to the AI, and AI is giving the response. That's how it works. Now let me go to the AI chat service IMPL. So this is the last stage. I hope you are understanding the concept. So if I talk about this AI chat service IMPL, you can see over here what we are doing. So inside AI chat service IMPL, we have interface which has only two methods, chat and stream. All right, this is just a wrapper method that is going to use our provider methods inside. So if I explain at high level, this is the synchronized. Once whole response is prepared, then only we give the response from our end. And over here, as we are receiving the response from the AI, we are sending it to the user. So basically, we are streaming the AI response, not waiting for the whole response, but we are streaming the AI response, just like YouTube video. All right. So let's understand this. So I am injecting these three dependencies. One is, you can see, uh, I told you that we are going to use all of this inside our service layer. So provider registry and prompt factory. All right. So this is the method. So before we do this, let me jump to the controller. So you hit this API. So if you can see from here, let's say stream AI chat stream. All right. You are hitting this API. And once your request inside the controller, you come inside the service layer. All right. And over here, you can see you are calling provider registry. Why? Why you are calling provider registry? Because you want to have the chat provider here. So as per the user input, now let's say this user has said, I need Gemini. I want to use Gemini. All right. So what you are doing, you are sending the user input to the provider registry, chat provider registry. All right. And you can see over here, as per the user input, if user input is not null, we are getting the provider ID over here, and from the map we are getting the actual provider and we are returning it. So in our case, it is it is Gemini. All right. So over here we are getting the Gemini chat provider and I am returning it. So that is why we are using provider registry. If it is OpenAI, we will get the OpenAI. Now, once we have provider ready, chat provider ready, let's say Gemini in our case. All right. Now, next task is to build the prompt. So, what I am using over here, prompt factory. So, you can see I am sending two things, the request and the provider itself. Why provider? Because options are different among the chat providers that I have already explained. I will spot some light this time as well. So, provider ready. Now next task is to build the prompt. So what I'm going inside this prompt factory. You can see this is the user input. I have prepared a message over here. You can see message. And one more thing I need to build over here is the chat options. So what I am calling providers two options method. So in our case, it is Gemini. So it will go inside the Gemini. All right. It is building these options and it is returning it here as an input. And this input is being used to create the prompt object messages, and the option is being used to create the prompt object. And once the prompt object is ready, we have the prompt. Now, once we have the prompt ready, what we are doing? We are simply calling provider dot stream and we are passing the prompt as an input. And this is the interface method, which is common, which we have seen earlier, right? This is common for all the chat provider, whether it is OpenAI or the Gemini. This is common. So this method I am using, and this basically help us to stream the AI message. All right. So that's how it works. Let me show you the full picture. All right, full picture. So let's do one thing. Let me explain this diagram. All right. So our implementation is done. So let me explain this diagram to you. All right. So this is the user input, whether you are sending from our GUI or the controller, or from the postman. So once you send your input, it comes to the controller. control calls the service layer. Now inside the service layer, what we are doing, we are using chat provider registry. All right, to chat provider registry we are using to get the chat provider. For example, let's say Gemini, so it will return us this Gemini class. Once we have Gemini, all right, we will use chat uh, this prompt factory to build the prompt. All right, once we have prompt ready, we are calling our Spring AI layer. All right, and Spring AI layer calling the actual AI, and we are getting the response. So if I connect this diagram with our application or with our code, let's do this. Let me go to the controller. Let me remove or close rest of the things. So user has provided input. Call comes to the controller layer over here. Currently, we are at the second stage. All right. We are using this chat stream API because it is the better API. Because we want to stream, we don't want to wait for the full response. So we are in the controller layer, and from the controller layer we are calling the service. So you can see we are calling our service. All right, now once we are inside the service layer, you can see we are using the provider registry. All right, so this is the provider registry, and what we are asking, give me give me the provider as per the user input. Let's say in this time we have OpenAI. So I go to this provider registry. So we are currently at this stage, provider registry. All right. And it basically checks which provider I am asking for. I am asking for the OpenAI. So basically it returns the OpenAI. All right. Once we have provider, you can see once we have provider, we are again at this stage. We calls this prompt factory. All right. Once we have provider, we call this prompt factory to build the prompt. So we can see still we are in the service layer. Earlier we have called provider registry to get the provider. Once we have provider, we are calling the prompt factory to get the prompt or to build the prompt. So you can see prompt factory, and over here I'm creating a prompt. You can see prompt. So this basically help us to create a prompt. All right. Once we have the prompt, what I am doing, I am calling provider stream method. All right. So at this stage, we have provider as well as we have prompt. Now next step is to call the AI. All right. So from this step, so you can see currently we are at the service layer and we have prompt ready, we have provider ready. So what we are going to do, we are calling provider stream method and we are passing this prompt. So let me go over here, and you can see chat model over here inside this interface chat provider. Over here we are calling stream prompt. So when I say stream prompt, it basically calls the Spring AI chat model, and Spring AI chat model basically calls the Gemini or the OpenAI as per our input. All right, and the OpenAI. Let's say this time we have OpenAI, so Spring AI calls the OpenAI and it give us the response. So that's how it works. All right. So I can show you in the debug mode as well for your explanation. So let me do this. So I believe if I do that, you might get better understanding. Let me stop this application and let me start this in the debug mode. All right. So we will do from the controller. This is just for the demonstration purpose. So you guys can connect the dots. All right. Okay. Perfect. Our application is up and running. Now let me use this Gemini. Okay. I'm hitting. You can see we are inside the service layer. All right. So if I step into, let me do step into. You can see, I mean, earlier we were at the controller layer. Now we are inside the service layer. All right. If I do the, let me put one more here. If I do the step into, we will go inside the registry, and you can see, in our request, I have used Gemini. So what it will do? The provider ID is the Gemini. You can see. Let me collapse this. You can see provider ID is Gemini. So it will give me the Gemini chat provider. So you can see Gemini chat provider, and this is not null. So I'm getting the, so in our case, it is Gemini chat provider. You can see. All right. Now what we are going to do, we are going to build a prompt. So I will again go step into. All right. And we are basically preparing a list of messages over here. And before we create this object, our call goes to the two options. So let me go to two options and put the debug point over here upfront. So our call will come over here. So if I release the debug point from here, we are inside the Gemini chat provider. You can see Gemini chat provider. We have inputs, so we will go over here. You can see now we are building the option step by step, right? And we are here again. We are inside the prompt factory, and if I again do this step over, our prompt is ready. All right. Now once our prompt is ready, I will go inside the this interface method. So let me stream over here. You can see we are inside the what I can say, this interface stream method. All right, because it is the final stage, and from here we will stream the message. So I will release the call here. So y- right, guys, that's how it works. If we have given the OpenAI, we will be use the OpenAI chat provider. But in our case, it was the, you can see, we got the response as well. We received the response as well. This is the response which we have received inside the chunks. These are the chunks. All right. So as per your input, you can select Gemini or the OpenAI. All right. So that's how it works. Let me show you the demonstration. So you can see if I hit the send button, we are getting the data as a chunk. All right. I think let me check if I am stuck somewhere. No, I'm not. I have received the response. Looks like what I can say. Uh, the Gemini is giving a bit slow response. But let me use small tokens and let me say what is Java instead of JS. Let me say what is Java and let's wait for the response. You can see we have received the response. Similarly, we can change the model as well, 3.5 flash. Okay, if I want to, you can see we have received the um, uh, 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 um, yeah, we have received this response from the AI. Similarly, from the OpenAI, if I ask what is JS, it will send lots of, I would say, lots of chunks. So you will see the lots of chunks over here. You can see we are keep getting it. But in case of Gemini, we don't get a lot of tokens, and because we are streaming through the data. So in Postman, the response is not user friendly. So that is why I have built this GUI from the for the demonstration purpose only. All right, and I can give my input over here. as per my requirement. What I want to know, let's say, tell me about AI. All right, that is it. And you can see I'm using the OpenAI over here. Model is GPT 5.4 Nano. And let me hit the send button. You can see this is the response we have received. So it is much better compared to the Postman, whatever response we see in the Postman. So that is why I have built this GUI for the demonstration purpose. So we can at least see the user-friendly message from the AI, and along with user-friendly message, we can see these chunks as well. Yeah, of course, if I want to switch the model, Google Gemini, and if I, let's say, ask what is Claude, all right, what is Claude? And let me hit the send button. Let me first check what are the tokens. Yeah, 1000 is good enough. Let me hit the send button. Gemini gives a bit slow response, and it has very few chunks. You can see only 12 chunks, and but this 12 chunks contains lots of data. So you can see this is from the Gemini. So yeah, guys, that's how you can implement multiple chat provider in your application. And let's say in future, if you want to integrate Claude in your application, you can easily do it because that's how we have built our application, of course. And yeah, for the Gemini, if you want to know which model you can use, so you can see API Quick Start over here. So once you are in the Create API key page, you have this API Quick Start button. Click on it, and you will able to find information about the models. All right, go to API keys. All right, you will able to find lots of information, and if you go inside the all model section, you will able to find the model information over here. So you can see Gemini 2.5 flash, 3.5 flash. These are the few models, so you can read the instructions, and you can use the models accordingly. And yes, that's how you can build this multiple chat AI provider application. You can integrate multiple AIs, no matter which AI you want to use. We have built our application in a way you can easily integrate. So in future, if I need to integrate Claude in my application, I can easily use it because I have used strategy design pattern, we have used registry design pattern, we have used factory pattern. All right. So these basically all the patterns help us to build a better application, and it makes basically our life easier. So yeah, I think that is it for this video. I hope you have learned something interesting today. And if you like my video, if you find my video useful, then please like, share, subscribe, comment. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.